Hey everybody, this is week 2 when we introduced the final project. If you've been clicking around the site, you can see it's all already out there and it's in the final project folder. When you click on the learning plans and agendas, you see it right there. When you click in week 2, you're going to see it right there. I'm going to be hounding you with it, right? But I thought I'd take a few minutes just for us to go over it together. So grab your handout or have it up online or however it is you want to do this so you can go through this with me together. So the final project's 130 points. It's a plan of action on how you can improve your communication skills. The real core of customer service, of quality customer service, really begins and ends with communication skills. I mean, I've been a corporate trainer forever, and I do not know one company that did not have me coming in and on top of a lot of other topics saying, can we work on communication skills? It seems to be a real problem. So the project, you can create a personal action plan. You've got 8 weeks to actively work on it. We're introducing it now in week 2. You actively start working on it in week 4. Obviously, you can start now. I mean, you don't have to wait until week 4. Uh, I like to have a good schedule so that our procrastinators don't procrastinate, right? Can stay on task. So the purpose to improve your communication skills, the topics, the plan will revolve around improving your verbal, nonverbal, and listening skills. I believe there's one chapter per each of these skills in the book. So there's a ton of information just right in our textbook that helps with this project. So the background, and I'm not going to read this word for word, right? So read the background about this, about the core of quality service being related to customer communication skills. The project details. I'm on page 1 of the handout. The research will consist of a combination of doing some interviews, could be books, magazines, internet, journals, whatever it is that you use to collect your data. Personal reflection, you'll need to identify your communication strengths and weaknesses. And again, the work that we do with the book, that's why I don't really kick this project off too early, because we haven't gotten to those chapters yet where they have, some little surveys and things like that, and some stuff that I've got you doing where we can look at helping you evaluate what your skills, strengths, and weaknesses are. Number 3, helping with your study. You're going to pick a trusted person to help you assess your strengths and weaknesses. It's very hard to assess our own. I can't tell you how many people think that they're the best communicator in the world, and I look at them and go, wow, I can't ever understand anything they're saying. Number 4, the 3 skills that you're going to working on, like I mentioned before: verbal, nonverbal, and listening. And then skill development, you're going to pick one skill from each of those 3 areas. You're going to have 3 things you're working on for the project. And then evaluation, that's the written report. So you're going to summarize the report using written sections and a table to help put all this data together. All right. And then the final presentation, you're going to report how well you did over the course of the 8 weeks in this class, during this class that you worked on it towards improving your skills, and then what your plans are for the future, to continually build on your skill set. And I give you a list here of the discussion topics that will be part of the final presentation. You can read that on your own. This is a really fun project. I started doing it, I think it's 4 years ago. And as it's evolved with student feedback, it's just been really insightful for both me, but more so for you students, especially working with your trusted partner. Now, this could be a coworker, friend, relative. A lot of folks have worked with their parents, which I thought was very interesting, but it's really wise because they know you probably better than anyone, right? And they know the body language part will be very interesting. I always find it fascinating that when we learn about our tics, because we don't know we have a tick, right? That's why it's called a tick. Till someone says, why are you always, winking at me? Right? And then as you go through the handout, you can see how it's graded. I'm not going to read this word for word. And we go to the work schedule. Week 2, like I said, we're introducing the project. Week 4, actively beginning it. Week 7 is your first rough draft for the project. Week 10 is the second rough draft of the project. In week 12, by the end of week 12, it is due. The written project is due. And then by the end of week 13, because it's a fully online class, you're going to record your presentation, either like I'm doing with a webcam. I'm just using my cheapo webcam in my home office. Most of you, you could do it on your phone. Most of my students are turning theirs in using their phone. I don't really care how you turn it into me, as long as I can see your happy little face and you're doing a presentation. And again, the guidelines are all in this handout. I'm not going to go through these word for word. So for example, I give you some criteria, some guidelines on what you should have for your rough draft. I give you these specific due dates in here that I don't need to go through word for word. So the recorded presentation part of this is worth 20 points, and you will be expected to be dressed properly. Now remember, this is unless you're standing up and I can see all of you. I mean, I could have jammy pants on right now and you wouldn't even know it, right? But as long as you look professional when you present, that's fine. You have a maximum of 10 minutes. Most of the students wrap this up between 5 and 10 minutes. I give you the criteria that you'll need to focus on for what you need to talk about. And then part of this, 5 points of this also comes from, was it easy for us to understand you? Did it seem in logical order? Were you following the outline? Or were you just basically like this, just reading from your paper and then telling us everything we need to go? And then panicking and going back to the paper because I haven't prepared very well, or just simply because I'm nervous, right? I do things pretty off the cuff, but I've been doing this a very long time. So you just have to practice a few times, and that's where your trusted friend comes into play. And remember, nothing's ever perfect. Please don't spend like recording, re-recording, because obviously, like you see what I do with our informal things like we do in class with mine, they're not perfect because you just waste too much time. But they should be presentable enough where you'd be pretty proud of that to show them to your boss, or even better. Maybe you should have your boss critique your little presentation. Wouldn't that be interesting? Ooh, and if you're really brave, maybe that's your trusted person, right? I also give you a sample outline that you can look at, because maybe you've never really put a formal report together before. Because in my world, this would just be considered a report, something you're reporting out on and giving to your boss. So I start it with a cover page, obviously. I give you an example of what a table of contents would look like, right? You put your table of contents together, but you leave the page numbers last because you don't know what those will be until you're done. And then I also give you a tip on how to create a presentation using an outline, where you basically copy and paste the table of contents for your report, and you just start filling it in, and you leave those headings in there. This is a business report, right? It's not literature. Right, so having headings, we want checklist type things, and then you fill it in with the text in the body of the report as you go through it. So that's just a tip for me. You're more than welcome to use your own, but and I don't know that I have this written anywhere. I will try to remember to add this. Most of the reports are coming in under 5 pages. They've basically, when you look at the grading grid, this grading grid that on the second page, I think it's on the second page, it looks like this, right? You have your cover page and table of contents. The introduction is generally 1 to 2 paragraphs. The body of this paper, maybe 2 to 3 pages, because you've got a pretty good sized table in there, but then you have the written sections before the table and after the table, so that's going to take up a couple pages. Then your conclusion. So most of them are coming in around 5 pages, up to 7, but no more than that. It's getting crazy, right, for a business report. And the other reason that I introduced this in week 2, we don't actively start until week 4. We get the reading under our belt, but that also gives you time to sit down and go through all of this. I give you copies of this in Blackboard, so when you hit learning plans and agendas and you see the final project folder and click on that, some of this is copied right there in front of you, like, oh, there's the grading grid. Oh, okay. But everything is right here in the handout as well. So email me once you get time to go through this and you have some good solid questions. Don't, go, I don't understand what we're doing. Think it through a little bit first, and then we can talk. And remember, in a fully online environment, we have other means to talk to one another, like the phone, where we actually talk on the phone. So we can do that too. So read this over, look through all the information, see if you have any questions. Oh, and if you find like anything that I've done wrong, like get my dates wrong or something, please let me know, because I'm notorious for, you're working on all of this and you've got beginning and end dates, and not just me, but all of us, it's really easy to do a typo or have, whatever. So if you find something that needs updating, please let me know and I'll fix that in real time. So I'll leave it at that. This is the overview of our final project with 130 points. It's going to be fun and you're going to be great. Bye.